we please have a call of members present?
Manufo Leah Inga Anuai is not present. Aaron Rashba.
Here.
Anthony Sujisaka.
Here.
Andrea Jordan is not present. Shaquille Ali.
Here. Okay. And Mr. Laurel we will ask you to lead us in the pledge.
Please face the flag.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Item 5A, public hearing for 2024-2020 to 2027 AFT Local 3267 successor contract proposal. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on the AFT Local number 3267 successor contract proposal. AFT is proposing to open negotiations on articles identified in the attached proposal. And we will open this public hearing at 7:03. And there's no speaker cards. Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 7:04. So we're gonna wait.
It's okay to close the public meeting in the same minute, as long as there's no speaker cards, I believe.
Okay. So seeing we have no speaker cards, we'll go ahead and close the open the next item, which is public hearing 5B. Public hearing for Jefferson Elementary School District proposal to AFT Local 3267. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on the Jefferson Elementary School District's counter proposal to AFT Local number 3267 for the 2024 to 2027 successor contract. JESD is proposing to open negotiations on Article 2, wages, Article 3, hours of employment, Article 6, health and welfare, and Article 11, evaluation and revising language throughout the document to reflect current law. And we will open this hearing at 7:04. Do we have any speaker cards? Okay, we'll close at 7:05. Okay. I'll have to go back this way. Item 5C, public hearing for 2024 to 2025 CSEA, chapter number 233, contract renewal proposal. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on CSEA, chapter number 233, contract renewal proposal for the 2024 to 2025 school year. CSA is proposing negotiations on Article 5, wages, Article 6, health and welfare, and Article 8, hours and conditions of employment. And we're opening this public hearing at 7:05. Do we have any cards? Nope. We'll close at 7:06. And we will go to item 5D, public hearing for Jefferson Elementary School District's counter proposal to CSEA, chapter number 233. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on JESD's counter proposal to CSEA, chapter number 233, for the 2024 to 2025 school year. JESD is proposing to open negotiations on Article 5, wages, Article 6, health and welfare, and Article 8, hours and conditions of employment. We're opening this hearing at 7:06. Cards? Nope. Close at 7:07. Item 5E, public hearing on 2024 to 2027 Local Control Accountability Plan. Governing Board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on the Local Control Accountability Plan. The LCAP is an accountability plan that requires districts to disclose how local control funding formula, or LCFF, funds are spent to provide high-quality education programs. And we'll open this at 7:07. Still no cards, right? We'll close at 7:08. Item 5F, public hearing of fiscal year 2024 to 25 proposed budget. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments of the fiscal year 2024 to 25 proposed district budget. I see no cards. We'll open this at 7:08. And we'll close it at 7:09. Item 5G, public hearing on district reserves in excess of minimum requirements. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District will hear public comments on the district reserves in excess of minimum requirements. We're opening this at 7:09 and closing at 7:10. And next we'll have item 6, communications, board member acknowledgements and commendations, and I'll start on my right.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just say that it was truly an honor to get to speak before the graduates and the parents at Franklin D. Roosevelt, the graduation ceremony that I attended last Thursday. I loved hearing the students who spoke and just seeing the pride in the students' faces. That's a K through 8, so many of those students had been there since kindergarten, and it was just amazing to see them get those diplomas and get ready to head on to high school. So I certainly want to congratulate the graduates from the middle schools that I did not get to attend. Congratulations to everyone graduating from our district. Congratulations to all the students, teachers, and staff finishing up the school year, and certainly wanted to wish everybody a wonderful summer. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'd like to echo those, everything that Trustee Rashba said. On top of that, I got to attend the Fernando graduation and speak there. So I would like to appreciate the Fernando community for having me. I would also like to appreciate the TRP community for having me as a handshaker at their graduation. So that was an honor there too. Also, congratulations to our students on the Youth Cinema Project. For those of you who haven't seen, we even made a news article about it, and I'm sure Superintendent McCulloch and Trustee Ali will speak more on that. So thank you very much for sending me to LA and letting me see the red carpet that they got to walk on, because that was an honor.
All right. I won't speak on it, but just, mention as well that I attended 2 graduations and spoke at TRP and at Ben Franklin. So another congratulations to all those students and families, and also the staff and faculty. And I just want to commend all of us as a district for having a good school year. Superintendent comments.
Sure. I want to also congratulate our 8th grade students moving on to high school. We have on our social media page, if you have pictures of your graduation that you would like to share with us, we would like to post it in our July newsletter. So go on to Instagram and share those in the comments, and then we'll be able to post them in our newsletter. Also, as Trustee Sujisaka said, that our Youth Cinema Project at 4 of our elementary sites had their film premiere last week, and KTVU News came out and did a segment, which we also shared on our social media, and we're sharing it on our website. And we're sharing it, I believe it was shared in our newsletter, it will be. So we have a lot of great publicity happening for our district and promoting our district. And it was really exciting to see the student work and the students' voice and their stories being told. A couple other things just to share is that we have our summer programming starting next week. So on Monday, June 17th, we have summer programming at 5 sites. 3 of the sites are through our Big Lift and Power Scholars. So Susan B. Anthony and Daniel Webster is for our younger students. And then TRP has our Power Scholars for 4th through 8th grade. We also have a Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula program happening at Woodrow Wilson. And then our special education extended school year is happening, changed to Garden Village. It was at JFK, but we moved it to Garden Village. So we're informing families about that change. 3 of our school sites offer seamless summer meal programs, which is free meals for children up to 18 years old. And that's at Daniel Webster, Susan B. Anthony, and Woodrow Wilson. So any child up to age 18 can go and get a free meal. You do have to eat it on site. But those are the 3 sites to go if you want to have a free meal during the weekday all summer long. So, and then also, this is sadly Mr. Laro's last meeting with us. So we'll be celebrating him a little bit later. But I just wanted to let the public know that we are really grateful for his time with us, and we'll be sharing some words later.
Thank you. Item 6C, persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. Do we have any? Nope. Okay. Item 7A, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We need a roll call for this.
Mr. Rashba,
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka,
Aye.
Mr. Ali,
Aye, unanimously approved. Item 7D, resolution number 240612D. A resolution of the Jefferson Elementary School District calling for an election to be held on November 5th, 2024 for the election of 2 members of the governing board. The administration recommends adoption of the resolution. And yes, do we have a motion? Oh, you want to talk
Before
about
you go
this?
to a motion, I just want to let the public know that in the resolution, this is something that is the board had changed the policy to remove some barriers, financial barriers for potential candidates. And so the candidate statement will be paid by the district for not to exceed an amount of $1,500 per candidate. So we want to be able to allow candidates to open it up to more candidates to come and be part of our board and governance team.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, and we need a roll call.
Mr. Rashba,
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka,
Aye.
Mr. Ali,
Aye, unanimously approved. Item 7E, CSBA Annual Education Conference. Board members will discuss and determine which board members would like to attend the annual conference to be held in Anaheim from December 5th through 7th, 2024. The estimated cost of attending the conference for each person is $2,450, funded through the board conference budget. Board members can also opt to attend a pre-conference.
So we just need to know, have a discussion, but who is interested in attending the full conference, as well as who is interested in attending pre-conference and which pre-conference you are interested in. And I have the pre-conference topics up on my computer if you need to know.
I'm interested in attending the conference, and then I think the board president pre-conference as well.
I would like to attend the conference, not the pre-conference.
Yeah, and I'm interested in both conference and pre-conference.
Do you know which pre-conference you're interested in attending?
Not at this time. but-
Okay, you can let, we're trying to capture the early bird registration, so you can let Miss Covere know, and so we'll just put you down as you are attending a pre. And then we'll check with trustee Jordan later.
Okay, so
We do need a
we can make a
motion
motion for the three of us for now, or up to
and a
five.
new board member too.
So we can say up to five, but we know that at a minimum three.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Item 8M, preschool updates and program self-evaluation of the First Amendment to, Ms. Lisa Zamiga, General Pershing Preschool Director, will share preschool program updates and results from the annual program self-evaluation. Welcome.
Technical difficulties.
There we go.
Yes, she does. There we go.
All right, there we go. Good evening. I'm excited to be here tonight, tell you a little bit more about our preschool program, and to share some really exciting data that we just received this week. So here on our first slide, you can see our data from our SEEDS program. This is an early literacy program that we piloted this year. The assessments were given 3 times a year on uppercase and lowercase letter names and letter sounds. This is testing for our 3 to 5-year-olds. And as you can see, we made steady progress across all areas. The teal is the area of proficiency for our students, and this is testing all students ages 3 to 5 across all 8 classrooms in the district. The teal area is actually the above target area. So a lot of growth, consistent growth across the program and across all students. So some of our growth priority areas include increase to our inclusion program, continue to build inclusive practices, create more spaces to serve all students, and support the UDL framework within the preschool program. Another priority for us is school readiness. Again, we looked at our SEEDS literacy data, but we also want to maintain high quality classrooms, create language-rich environments, and provide individual supports for all learners. And on our last slide here, again, priorities for the preschool, goals and actions. We have a very strong family engagement program at our preschool program, specifically at General Pershing, where we held monthly in-person parent cafes that were very well attended. We hold individual family orientations for all families every year in coming to the program, as well as meeting with them multiple times a year for in-person parent conferences. We have an open door policy for both families and staff in our preschool program, where we communicate regularly and freely. Our second priority area is program quality and school readiness. Again, we have language-rich environments, visual aids and supports for all students, and play plans and choice boards to help our students be more independent, self-directed. Another highlight we have is our inclusion program, offering the least restrictive environment for students. We offer many mainstreaming opportunities for students currently in the special ed department, but are mainstreaming into our Gen Ed with the hope of transitioning out of an SDC classroom and into a Gen Ed classroom environment. We also support age-appropriate development. Our students are coming in with differing needs, and we have our teachers work with each child individually to make sure that we're meeting their needs at their specific stage of development, regardless of age. We are offering full and part day classes, and we have a new online enrollment component, which has proved to be very successful with many families accessing the program through the website. That's all I have for you. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Zuniga. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I just had two questions. Thank you for the presentation. First, I was just curious. I know preschool enrollments can be a little different than our K through 8, but are most of your enrollments within our district, or do they span the surrounding areas, which I know encompass several districts?
So yes, the majority of students are from Jefferson Elementary School District boundaries, but we are a California State preschool funded program, which allows us to enroll students from within California.
Got it. Yep.
So some are over the district boundaries, San Francisco, surrounding areas.
Yep. Yep. And I was just curious too, your those are wonderful gains that you've made in letters and letter sounds. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I attribute a lot of that to our amazing teachers. We have several of them here today. They were actually trained. A lot of coaching happened over the course of the year. They were also rated and scored very high in the SEEDS teacher rating as being proficient in delivering the content. So I think that was instrumental in the success that we see with the students.
Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. I really like that there are plans and choice boards, because again, giving our kids choices is what we love to see. I had one question about enrollment, not about like enrollment itself, but and I'm not sure actually this is a superintendent question or you. How are we advertising the program to entice more families to enroll in this program?
So we do have a page on the website, on the district website. We really get our referrals from word of mouth. We are always over-enrolled, so we definitely, the word is out about Jefferson's preschool program and the high-quality program that we do offer. So we have a lot of interest in our program.
Great, thank you. No further questions.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for the presentation. Obviously, I walked in towards the end of that presentation, but I recently had the pleasure of attending the preschool and seeing all the amazing things that you're doing. So I just wanted to say thank you and keep it up.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Keep up the great work, and it's good seeing you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 9M. The administration recommends annual approval of board resolution number 240612A, Education Protection Account, identifying the manner in which Prop 30 funds have been expended. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, and can we have a roll call?
Mr. Rashba,
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka,
Aye.
Ms. Jordan,
Aye.
Mr. Ali.
Aye, unanimously approved. Item 9P, fiscal year 2024 to 25, budget development presentation. Mr. Michael Laurel, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, will present the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 proposed budget and multi-year financial projection for the district.
Good evening, members of the board and community. In preparing for my last board meeting, I failed to print out hard copies for you guys, so I apologize for that. But you can access, as well as the public can access this presentation on the agenda. All right, so as we get into the budget development for next fiscal year, 24-25, a lot has remained unchanged in terms of what were our assumptions into our revenues and what's going on at the state level regarding the budget. We're utilizing 1.07% cost of living adjustment in 24-25. and we've utilized the May revision figures ongoing. The good thing is there's a cost of living adjustment, so increase in revenues for special education, mandated block grant, as well as child nutrition. Governor Newsom has made it a priority to continue to fund universal school meals. So that means that students would receive a free breakfast and lunch at our school sites. Additionally, there's nothing that's been changed in regards to the Prop 98 savings account, the public school system stabilization account. $5.8 billion is going to be used in this current year, as well as $2.6 billion to be utilized in 24-25. Now, here are some things that are not included in our budget development for next year. Right now, as of recently, Governor Newsom struck a deal with the California Teachers Association on May 27th that may include deferrals. The language is supposed to come out by June 15th, but as of today, June 12th, they still haven't had a signed budget yet. They have until the 15th to sign the budget, of which we will then get additional details, right? We don't have a deficited COLA. They're fully funding it. Any other reductions to Prop 98 funding or changes to the Prop 98 reserve. We also don't know if there's any other additional compromises between legislators and the governor regarding the budget, right? Because we do have a historic deficit. Some additional significant information in our budget is we have pots of restricted dollars that we're going to be spending in the upcoming years. Through June 2026, we have the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant. If you could recall, Ms. Scott and former Superintendent Mr. Vidalas, we had gotten this money in, I believe, 2022. We're going to be utilizing it for 2 Institute days in 24-25, as well as 2 Institute days in 25-26. For those who aren't aware of what Institute days are, they are training days in-house across the district, where we don't have students and we could focus on improving our teaching methods. We also have the Learning Recovery Block Grant that can be spent through June 2028. This funds our MTSS and ELD positions, as well as the 2 additional school days or instructional days on our calendar. This funding will be exhausted by June 30th, 2026, so spending it before the deadline. Additionally, we have the Arts and Music Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant that can be spent through June 2026. If you guys can recall, we did have a one-time transfer to Fund 17 for our Health and Welfare Reserve in fiscal year 23-24. We're going to be utilizing the remaining balance of $1.2 million in 24-25. So more assumptions into our budget development. The good news is we haven't had as big of student loss enrollment as we had projected in this current year. I think we had lost only about 20 students year over year. So we're still going to see projecting a decline of 60 students. We're currently at above 5,000 enrolled students. So we're hoping to see that number stay above 5,000. That would be, a great. It'd be great for the district in terms of top line LCFF revenue. The big deal is our 3-year funded ADA is going to be declining 335 students, which you'll see later how that impacts our budget. Unduplicated pupil percentage, so students who are homeless, foster youth, English learners, as well as qualifying federally low income qualifying. Those are those students. We're projecting as 63.93% and goes down to 63.61 in the out years. Another big thing that we're looking at is our ADA to enrollment, right? How often are students in class? Historically, our average of students being in class is 96.2%. However, last year we were at 92.75, and this year we've increased by 1%. So we're going to continue to be conservative and continue to think that students are going to attend at the same rate. However, we are expecting, and it has been a goal of the administration to, as well as the school sites, to get students into classroom more, right? To get back to our historic levels. STIR's contributions are the same. We're including step and column increases in salaries and benefits. A big deal is our PERS contributions are going up. That's when CalPERS does not meet their return requirements to be fully funded, of which then employers need to contribute more money for the same salary based into the pension system. State unemployment insurance has been normalized. If you guys can recall, back during the COVID years, there was an overuse utilization of those funds, of which we had to contribute more money into state unemployment, but that's been normalized. Negotiations are currently underway. No salary increases are included. Medical insurance premiums that are going to be increasing are not included in this budget. Another positive note is we've actually, after the budget was already developed, we found out that our special education revenues were going up $200,000, but that's not reflected in this budget, but will be taken care of or shown to the board during our August meeting. So for our LCFF, or local control funding formula revenues for fiscal year 24-25, our total entitlement would be $60.6 million. The budget that I'm presenting to you today supports the activities outlined in the local control and accountability plan. So in this slide here, I just wanted to show you guys, when we, a year and 2 days ago, right, June 14, 2023, we were expecting a 3.9% COLA. And you can see how the deficit spending, our 3-year average is going down, and we were still projecting deficit spending. Now, if you go to the bottom, or the second level of cells, you'll see that this is our multi-year projection from the March 13th board meeting, and we had reflected a 0.76% COLA. So over the two projections, our surplus goes down and the deficit goes up because we're receiving less money or less revenues overall, right? So now let's get into our proposed budget for fiscal year 24-25. Now we've revised the cost of living adjustment to 1.07%. And we're going to be showing a $1.5 million deficit in fiscal year 24-25. Ongoing to 25-26, 26-27, our deficits do increase. And then in 27-28, they start to ease up a little bit. So moving forward into what's causing our deficit, right? The structural deficit that we're showing here, right? I've talked about this at almost every meeting. You guys should be very familiar with the slide. This is something that my predecessor, Ms. Julie Kessler, also talked about. The biggest detriment to our funding is loss of enrollment. This is not a trend just here at Jefferson Elementary School District. Moreover, it's a trend across the state, with San Mateo County, right, being one of the highest loss of students in the state. So you can see here, year over year, from this current year, we're receiving $64.2 million. Going into next year, due to the cost of living adjustment being 1.07%, we're actually losing 5.65% of our revenues. If that COLA number was actually 3.94%, which is what we had shown at budget development last year, we would have received, instead of $60.6 million, we would have received $62.4 million, an additional $1.7 million, which would bring us out of a deficit, right? So you could see how, even though the cost of living adjustment isn't really new money, right, it just keeps our dollars buying power as we progress through the years, right? And the cost of living adjustment is a number that's looked in arrears, and they look at inflation and come up with that number. So, this is a big impact to our top line revenues, and this is a major contributor to our deficit spending. Additionally, so year over year, we're losing $3.6 million in revenue, right? From adjusting the COLA down from 3.94 to 1.07, that's has an impact on our budget. What we didn't see at second interim was our increased contribution to our special ed program. When it comes to our special ed program, we don't get to pick the students we have. We have to serve all students with the same level that we would any other student in the district. So, a lot of the students that we receive that are within our district could be of high need. Based on their IEP, they can go to non-public schools to get the additional services that they require. So with that being said, our contribution to the special ed program, of which a program that is grossly underfunded in the state of California, is contributing to our structural deficit. Additionally, our transportation costs are almost going up $500,000 year over year. That's something that's also being seen throughout the county across other districts, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just we're trying to work as best we can to structure and negotiate better rates. Step and column are going up every year, so even if we were not to change anything, right, the salaries and benefits are going up. Like I said earlier, the cost of PERS, that continues to rise when CalPERS does not meet their returns required to fully fund the program. And, you know, additionally, I think that, I know we've made additional investments to address learning loss and influence student outcomes, right? Whether that be adding counselors, adding MTSS and ELD positions, targeted supports for our students. We are trying to make a difference and to really influence the outcomes of our students, right? And, you know, the way I think of it is it is an investment, right? When we build our LCAP, or local control and accountability plan, it's a three-year plan, right? So as we go through the years, we're going to continually, review and look at what's working, what's not working. You know, how could we be in a state of continuous improvement? But as it stands right now, we're not holding back on the investments that we're making into our community and into our students. So I just want to make sure that the public is aware of that, as well as the board and those in attendance. You know, the deficit spending, it grows a bit from in 24 to 25 onward. And also, one thing I want to point out is in fiscal year 2021, our projected deficit spend was $5.8 million, right? Just like anything else, situations like the one we're in, they come in cycles, right? The good news is, we've had some really good years over the last 4 years. We've built up sufficient reserves to continue to provide the same level of support, if not more, to our students and the community. So let's just go over, aside from our general fund balance, other reserves we have in other funds that we may potentially need ongoing to meet our 3% minimum reserve for economic uncertainty. We have reserves in Fund 17, Fund 20, as well as Fund 40. The total amount of funds in these reserves is approximately $20 million. So we have lots of runway ongoing if we make no changes, right? But like I had said earlier, we're in a state of continuous improvement. We are always reviewing programs, supports that we're doing, and determining whether or not they're working and aiding in our goal here, or actually the board's goal, in addressing learning loss and impacting student outcomes on CAS scores, as well as behavioral, mental health in the works. We will utilize some of these funds in 26, 27, and as well as 27, 28. So moving on to next steps, the district must approve the budget no later than June 30th. We've held the public hearing here today. After that, our budget, as well as our LCAP, will be sent to the San Mateo County Office of Education to be approved by August 15th. They're going to review all of our assumptions, and what they're going to do is either approve or deny our budget. I have no indication, or I can't think of the word right now, but I know we are going to be able to meet our financial obligations and have a positive certification. I know that for a fact. So, right now it's just kind of a waiting game at the state level. Hopefully in the next couple days, they have an approved budget, of which we'll get into the nitty gritty about what does that entail and what does that mean for us at the local level, right? For those who aren't aware in the audience, as well as the public online, at the August meeting, we'll have a budget presentation of what was passed in the budget and how is that affecting us. And in September, we'll be going over our unaudited actuals for current fiscal year 23-24, right? Do you have questions?
Thank you. If there's any questions, we'll start on the left.
There was a slide that talked about the funding that we would be using for music. Where is that? Okay, perfect. Do you know what we're going to be spending it on? Like what programs specifically?
Not currently. I know that we are. There's been conversations of expanding. So here's the funny thing about this funding is it's titled the Arts and Music Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant. However, if you look into the details of these funds, it's pretty wide and encompassing on how we could spend the funds. Moreover, we did. I've been in communications with our music lead for the district, and we're looking to open up or expand on. I believe it's a guitar and mariachi programs in the band. So part of those in getting those instruments, being that they are one-time expenditures, can be utilized for that. Also, I also say that, we have moved $1.8 million of these funds into buying down medical premiums for our employees. And that was determined at this year's negotiations, which was an allowable expense within those funds.
If I may just add, this is different than Prop 28, which is the art and music.
Yeah, so there's
this is separate.
Yeah. So Prop 28 is the ongoing money to fund music, VAPA, so visual and performing arts. Most of 80%, if not more, of those funds are supposed to be spent on personnel. So we're spending that on directed art teachers, or just like art teachers and music teachers and things of that nature.
Every elementary site will have a part-time art teacher, and then we'll also have the middle school is expanding their electives program. So we're using that Prop 28 money for that. This was separate. It was kind of a misnomer of calling it the arts and music instructional materials, because it could be used for anything.
Thank you for that clarification. The other thing that you had mentioned was declining enrollment was really the reason why, our revenue was, going down. However, you also said that it was the COLA. And so I want to make sure for the public that they understand that, because technically this year we kind of stayed static with our enrollment, noting that we are still, we may have declining enrollment going into 24, 25. However, right now with it being static, it's not really the declining enrollment that might cause that. It's really the COLA. I guess I want to just make sure that that's the clarification between what is really causing that decline in revenue that we're receiving.
Yeah, so it's actually both, right? It's three things. It's declining enrollment, it's reduction in COLA, and it's average daily attendance. There's three things, right? If it's funny you bring that up, because Superintendent McCulloch and I, we were looking at, okay, if we were to add a percentage to go from 93.75% to 94.75% and improve on our attendance rates, right? Over the next 3 years, we'd see an increase of about $2 million in funding. So that's $250,000 in 25, 26. The next year is almost $500,000, and the year after that, it's about $800,000. So it really, because it's a 3-year average, it compounds. And so, even then, if we were to increase a percentage per year, they would yield great results for us.
I appreciate you saying that. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we can't control declining enrollment. We can't control COLA. We can control, to some extent, getting students into the classroom. And so I wanted to make sure that that was known. And then from a site standpoint, I guess, and we don't have to answer the question here, is like, what are all the things that we're doing to increase that percentage? Because $2 million is huge, and it could be the make or break between us going and using reserves or not.
And I think every site that shared their SIPSs, that was, I think, one of the growth areas, and they were sharing a lot of those actions. So every single school site is talked about what they're doing, and every single school site this year, because it was a focus, increased by at least 1%, which caused our district-wide average to increase as well. So it is still a focus for next year, because it's not only just average daily attendance, but chronic absenteeism. Our chronic absenteeism declined actually significantly, numerically significantly. So yes, it's a focus, and you'll hear it again when every site shares their single plans.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Laurel. Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe, for the presentation and your previous presentations as well. The regular updates keep us up to date on everything on here. So you're not just coming in twice and giving us all this information. You're giving us little bits along the way, which I really appreciate. And I hope that your the person after you will do the same thing. I only have one question about transportation costs. So you said our transportation increased by $500,000 this year. What do you think that is that number of transportation? Is that gas prices? Like what's really impacting that transportation cost?
Yeah, so there's two things going on there. Number one, the cost is going up. Number two, the number of students that are utilizing transportation is going up, right? Within our special education costs going up, we have students that need transportation to and from school. They might have mobility restrictions, and not only that, but we also have students that go to non-public schools that we bus them to the non-public school, right? So as the utilization goes up, right, the cost is going up, right? Additionally, we know that, the cost of the major contract that San Mateo County Office of Education has, of which we subcontract with, that cost is also going up as well, right? So it's twofold. It's utilization and cost, right? I think the big thing here is just like any other industry, it's hard to find people to work and to fill these positions. And so what these transportation companies are having to do is give raises in order to attract people to drive buses.
Thank you so much. No further questions.
Thank you, as always, for the presentation. I did have a question on the enrollment. If you could go back to the slide 9, I think, with the chart of declining enrollment funding.
This one.
Yeah. So you said, I think, that our funded ADA for 24-25 will actually be higher than is shown here. Did I get that right? It was 4,800 something?
No. So our funded ADA, where's it at? So if you go to this slide here, right? So our funded ADA currently is, so if you go to 23-24, funded ADA is 5,059.3 students, right?
Right.
So that's a 3-year average, okay? So as we go from 23-24, which is current year, into 24-25, we're losing 300 and some odd students here.
But where's the 4,862 figure coming from?
Where's that at?
Enrollment.
Oh, so you're talking about two different things. So there's enrollment and then average daily attendance. So, right. So enrollment is the total number of students. So let's say there's 100 students in this room and they go to class 97% of the time. So that would mean we have an average daily attendance of 97%, right? So when we're looking at the ADA, of those 4,862 students, how often are they in class? Right now, we're projecting them to be in class 93.75% of the time. So 93.75 times 4,862, right, gives us an ADA of 4,563. Does that make sense? They're two different. How often are they in school? Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. But you did say that was higher than it was expected to be, right? The enrollment, projected enrollment for next year.
Yeah. So, right now, if you were to look into our student information system, we would show over 5,000 students, right? However, we don't know whether or not they're going to be in the district next year, if they're going to re-enroll, if they're going to move and go to another district, if they're temporarily within this district this year. And I think to be conservative, it's best that the trend overall has been decline. And to be conservative, I think that it would be wise of us to project a decline, right? I would rather project a decline in enrollment, right? Because we know that we have a bigger or larger number of 8th grade students that are leaving than the incoming grades coming in like kindergarten, right? So With that being said, my hope is that over 5,000 enrollment sticks, because what's going to change, right, is our funded EADA is going to go up. Because if those 97 or 94% of 5,000 students is higher than 94% of 4,800 students, right?
Okay. So you were saying that the hope is that the enrollment will actually be higher.
Yeah, I mean, hope's not a game plan. And I think for us, it's best to be, and I don't say that in jest. I say that to be conservative in our efforts, moving forward. Because any way you cut it, if we were to be at 5,000 students, we're still going to be showing a structural deficit due to the loss of LCFF funding, combined with the increased expenditures that we're contributing into special education and transportation.
Yep. Yep. Going back to what's not resolved with the final budget, with deferrals might be, on the table. What would that mean?
Okay, so what a deferral is let's say our entitlement for the year is $12 million, right? $1 million every month. Every time that we get paid from the state in local control funding formula in those funds, right? There's I don't want to say a guideline, but like there's a tempo that we get paid. What they can do is like essentially a funding maneuver where they say, hey, you're not going to get $2 million or 2 of the months. We're not going to pay you, and we're going to pay you those $2 million into the next year, right? You're still going to get $12 million, but we're not going to pay them to you on time. Yeah. So within our budget, we also have something called cash flow, right? Cash can never be negative. So through the year, we're always making to ensure we're able to pay money out. Think of your checking account, right? Every month or every 2 weeks, you get paid. And so you're going to have money in your bank account. However, you could never be in a situation where you don't have any cash in your bank account of which you overdraw. So in the event of a deferral, some things that we would do usually around this time is we would make a resolution to do temporary interfund transfer or borrowing from other funds. So for instance, if we were to not receive $5 million in this current year, what we would do is transfer $5 million from another fund into our general fund to make sure we don't have negative cash. Then when we finally get paid from the state in July, right, we would send that $5 million back to the fund of which we borrowed. As of now, yeah. Additionally, there's other school districts, for a fact, within this county that that have issues with cash, and so what they have to do is issue a TRAN. So a TRAN is, I'm forgetting the acronym, but essentially it's a loan to bridge being in negative cash. So in the event of a deferral happening, what we would do is set up a resolution to temporarily borrow from one of our other funds, of which we've done in the years past.
I just had one other question about the Learning Recovery Block Grant. Funding for this will be exhausted by June 2026, but the block grant is through June of 2028. How's that?
Yeah, so whenever we receive one-time funding from either the state or federal government, there's usually red tape and guidelines on how we could spend those funds. And there's also a timeline on when we have to spend those funds by. A great example was the coronavirus relief funds that we received in 2020. From those funds, right, it was a priority for us to spend them. I think it was like $8 million in the span of like a year. So we worked on ventilation, like they just set up timelines on when we could spend the money. So now we do have things programs earmarked within the district that we're spending that money. So even though we have until June 2028 to spend the funding, we've identified how we're spending that money. It's via direct targeted supports for our students, as well as direct learning support for our English learner students who we know have significant hurdles in performing, right?
I'm glad to hear all the questions that my colleagues had on the budget tonight. Usually it's me asking all those questions. So I actually don't have a question, but I still have my regular comment, which is I'm happy that we're going to be positively certified, most likely, and our budget should be accepted. However, for all that time, I kept seeing the word deficit spending, deficit spending. So now I have to talk again. So do you have any advice on your way out on how we could cut down on our strategic use of reserves?
That's a great question. Like I had mentioned earlier, we have our local control and accountability plan for those who are in attendance as well as online watching this board meeting. That's a plan on how we're utilizing our funds for different programming, how we are tapping into these funds and directing them to either be direct supports, mental health, behavioral, like additional counselors, like additional contracted services. You know, we have really rich programs that we've built over the years. So like I said, it's going to be a matter of being in a state of continuous improvement and seeing what's working and what's not working, right? If we're spending, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a contract services for training, maybe that training's not working out, and that's not something we're going to continue. Additionally, it's looking at, you know, like our special education program and seeing where do we have inefficiencies, right? You know, where can we, you know, just instead of sending students to, like, let's say a non-public school, which can cost in excess of $150,000 to $200,000, maybe we say, hey, maybe we have programs within our district where we don't have to send them to that non-public school, of which we could still meet their educational needs, right, outlined in their individualized education plan. So, you know, I think, like I said, in this next year, I mean, this year it's a big year for us because we're going to look at our CAS scores and see where we landed. Next year is going to be a big year of looking at where we're at in our programs, what's working, what's not working, and then moving forward, we're going to say, hey, like, you know, where do we find these inefficiencies and how do we close the gap on those inefficiencies?
All right, yeah, thank you for mentioning those things, because I was actually talking with one of our parents, and she mentioned to me that some parents are starting to be confused because they're hearing this message of we're losing money because you're not sending your children to school, but they're also hearing keep your children home because they're sick. And we know that the pandemic heightened our awareness of all of that. And so I know we've even mentioned it at one of our last board meetings that we do value health. If you're sick, stay home. So we have to also have other conversation about other things that we're going to do to mitigate the fact that we're not getting enough money from the state. So we're losing revenue, as you know, you reiterated that, but I don't want us to put the pressure on the parents. You know, the pressure should be put on the state legislators and ourselves to be more creative and to have a menu of things that we're going to do to address this gap. Did you want to say something? Okay. All right. So thank you, though.
Yeah, I just want to say it's been a privilege and an honor to serve the board and as well as the community of Daly City, and yeah, it's been a privilege. So thank you guys for your time.
I just want to take this opportunity now that he's given his presentation and it's his final one to thank Mr. Alaro for his service in our district. I've only known him a short time, but in the time I've known him, he has maintained that our district is financially solvent and actually doing really well when you think about the reserves that we have, that if we didn't have these reserves, we would be in bad shape. So we appreciate that work, as well as he's so knowledgeable and he's really engaging, and we just appreciate everything he's done for our district, and we're sad to see him go. And we have a little token from the board as well. So if any board members wanted to share some comments, but I just wanted to thank him for his service in our district.
I just want to say really quick, thank you for answering my many, many questions about the budget, training me when I came on as a new board member. I think you've done a great job for our district. We truly appreciate it and wish you very best of luck in the next chapter.
I have echo my comments from 2 months ago, and thank you for all that you've taught me.
I'm not going to talk just to talk. I think you know how we feel about you. Really appreciate all that you've done over your course of the time on the board, and really happy to hear about your new adventure.
Yeah, congratulations once again on a job well done. You knew that you had some big shoes to fill coming in after Miss Kessler. And you've testified many times that she mentored you well in this position, and you handled it seamlessly. And so thank you once again. So let's give him one more round of applause. You got to follow that up, Brent. Okay, so item 10E, administrative appointment.
Sorry,
No,
10A.
just skip. Sorry, 10A, certificated retirement, 2023 to 24. The administration recommends approval of the following retirement requests, and also that an appropriate resolution be prepared commending her for years of service with the district. Cynthia Sheehan, ELD teacher, DW, effective 6/8/2024. Ms. Sheehan has been employed by the district since 8/22/2011. And do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved.
For those of you who know Cindy, she's quite a spunky person, always speaks her mind, always makes sure she calls me if she's got something to either say or ask. And, you know, these last few years, she's been working over at DW as our ELD teacher, and she just has so much energy, and she's going to be very, very missed, and I wish her the best in her retirement.
Okay, thank you. Item 10E, administrative appointments 2024 to 2025. The administration recommends approval of the following administrative appointments. Padmavati Desikachari, Vice Principal of Thomas R. Policita, effective July 25th, 2024. I'm going to skip that. Jonathan Hopkins, Vice Principal of Fernando Rivera, effective July 25th, 2024. Do we have any, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved, and congratulations. Did you want to have a few words? Okay.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I know it's a very long first and last name, but you can just call me Padma. I'm very happy to be here, and Daly City is such a welcoming community. From the first email I got from Mr. Valenti and the first person I met at TRP, since then, everybody has treated me with kindness and respect. That really stands out. I have been working in Cupertino School District for the past 13 years. And then I started off teaching English language learners as an ELD teacher, then moved to middle school teaching math for 8 years, and then as a math instructional coach for the past 3 years. And I live in West San Jose with my husband, 2 sons, my dad, and my dog. And I'm just happy to share that my dad, my husband, and one of my sons is here to cheer me and support me. I love to learn. So last year I got my doctorate in education, and I'm super looking forward to using my knowledge, skills, and experience working alongside with Megan. And she's such an amazing leader, super collaborative, cheerful, very inclusive, and I'm super excited for that. I'm eager to start at TRP and then looking for opportunities to learn and grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome.
Yeah, I go. cheat sheet. Good evening, members of the board, district office administrators. I just want to extend like a heartfelt thank you for entrusting me with this opportunity. I'm really excited. It's especially meaningful to me to be going to Fernando Rivera because I actually got my start in this district at Fernando 14 years ago. I started as a long-term sub for 7th grade girls PE, which if I can survive that, I know I can survive anything. No, it was great. And then I went on to Daniel Webster. I taught there for 13 years, and then I was the dean at Ben Franklin this year. So I love this district. My kids go to FDR. We live in the school district boundaries, so it's just I love it here. I want to give a shout out to my current principal, Ben Turner. He's just been an amazing mentor, and he's helped me develop my administrative skills over at Ben Franklin. And I'm also excited to work with my new principal, Melissa Mizell. And she has a lot of confidence in me, and so I hope I can live up to those expectations. So yeah, I just want to thank you again, and I'm really excited to learn and grow and serve the community at Fernando Rivera. Thank you.
Item 10F, provisional internships permits. The administration recommends approval of multiple subject provisional internship credential for the 2024-2025 school year for Raquel Valentin while she completes her credential program at San Francisco State University, Go Gators. In fall of 2024, Ms. Valentin will be teaching 6th grade at Franklin D. Roosevelt School. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. Item 11A, salary recommendation for classified position of board certified behavior analyst. The administration recommends approval of the annual salary schedule for the board certified behavior analyst, or BCBA, at $113,837 a year, step 1, to $124,389 a year, step 5. The Personnel Commission approved the proposed salary at its June 4th, 2024 meeting. The Governing Board approved the job description at its May 22nd, 2024 meeting. I know I had asked you a question about this, Superintendent McCulick, about the rate of salary, and it was this person like a semi-admin. Can you address that? Oh, sorry.
Speak to it. So it's actually not certificated position because there's not a credential involved. They are board certified, so it's in the same salary range as our occupational therapist. So they support students at multiple schools. In this case, it's student supports with behavioral and social skills. So this is something we've contracted out folks for in the past. So the range landed perfectly in line with where our occupational therapist salary is, and looking at the comps too in the local districts.
Okay, so that's good. This is something that we're bringing in-house. So, okay. Do we have a motion or any other
Before we have a motion, President, can I ask a question? Since we are bringing it in-house, is there a cost differentiator from what we were paying externally versus internally?
That's a great question. I don't have the dollar figure on me right now, but certainly there's a savings that anytime we pay outside contractors for specialized positions, it costs us a lot more than if we were to be doing that in-house.
Perfect. And I just wanted to make sure to say that out loud because I know we were just talking about deficit spending. And so I want to make sure that as we are, for the public at least, so, it's not like, oh, well, you guys are hiring and, putting new positions out there, but I thought you guys were deficit spending. And so I think it's very important for us to be transparent about how we're spending money and why. And I think this is a good case. If we were doing something before, spending more money, and now we're bringing it in-house, we have more control over that position. I think it's a net positive for us. So thank you for clarifying that. And with that, I will put a motion up for this item.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We approve that. I just wanted to ask a quick question because I know you mentioned earlier that we have $200,000 more because of the special ed department. So is this part of it? And I know there was one position that Dr. Adams said that he did not fill again.
Yeah, I believe it was a
Program
program
coordinator.
coordinator, as well as I think one of our nursing positions. The first thing is, no, this isn't the $200,000. That's going to be revenue. So the figure you saw, the deficit figure you saw for 24-25 was a negative 1.5. That should be a negative 1.3 million, right? When we look at our total spending for special education, I know those BCBA contracts are in excess of a couple $100,000. So bringing that in-house, we're able to arbitrage or find savings in servicing our students. Not only that, but we can also widen, for one student to go see a specialized behavioralist, it costs a lot of money. If we were able to provide those services in-house and tighten up be more efficient with our funding, this is one way we're able to achieve that.
And if I can just add to that effect, this helps build the capacity of the existing special circumstance instructional assistants that in many cases, students are getting additional supports in their classroom. And hopefully the idea is to build the capacity and peel back some of that cost. So this kind of goes in conjunction with that.
Sounds great. Any other questions? Okay. Wow, we're already to 12, huh? Governance team member comments, reports, future agenda items, and board meeting reflection. We'll start over here on the right.
Great meeting. Congratulations to the two new vice principals here tonight. Thank you to a great presentation from General Pershing, and thank you for your final last budget presentation. Very helpful. Thank you.
All right, great meeting tonight. Thank you to the preschool teachers who are here, or the pre-K teachers who are here, especially after break. Like, we really love seeing our community here and staying the whole meeting. So thank you for that. And everybody who is not DO staff, please enjoy your summer breaks. And then we'll see you all on June 26th, except for Michael.
I echo my fellow board trustees' sentiments. I wasn't here for the full part of the meeting, so I did want to make some statements. Number one, it's June. It's my favorite month of the year. It's my birthday month, so I'm biased. But I also am very happy that we fly the pride flag during the month of June. As a woman of color and a minority, I really want to ensure that people that look like me or don't look like me, that are different than me, feel welcome in our community. And, doing that act, just flying a flag, I think represents that for our community. And I'm very happy and I support that. And so I just wanted to say that out loud. Secondly, I know that we talked about going to CSBA. So I want to let you know that I am interested if I get reelected, obviously, because that is coming up as well. I also wanted to mention that I attended the Youth Cinema Project last week. I believe that was Thursday. So awesome. I attended with my daughter for the second time. And she continues to tell me how she would like to go to a school that offers that. And so it just shows that the advertising that we did, it looks like it's working. It's even working in my own backyard. And so it just is really a testament to what we do as a district and how we continue to support and enrich our students beyond just what they're getting in the classroom. And so I wanted to point that out. And with that being said, happy summer. Hopefully we continue to have, sunshine and no fog. Everyone stay well during the summer. And I look forward to our last meeting before a little bit of a break on the 26th.
Thank you. Yes, I also attended the film premiere at Westmore High School, but I was honored to be able to go to Hollywood as well with our students and staff. So the students were very appreciative and just on cloud nine to be able to walk on the red carpet, to have their films shown at the iconic Chinese theater. Yeah, so they were all saying that they still couldn't really believe that they were actually there, but now they know that it's possible. And the premiere at Westmore High School is as equally as inspiring. So I'm really glad that the program is working out well and that it's expanding. And I think that we did a great job of keeping our focus on the best interests of our students. And as Trustee Suji Saka said, thanks everyone for coming out and staying here for the whole entire meeting. And we will turn it over to Superintendent McCulick.
Yeah, I want to echo that. I want to thank especially our preschool teachers. It is your summer vacation, so you being here today to support your director, I appreciate that. And all of our administrators, it's their going into their last week of work. And so I wish everyone a happy summer. And this meeting actually is the first meeting I had as acting superintendent. So this kind of wraps up a year for me. So I want to thank everyone for your support in my first year as superintendent. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have any? Nope. So this time was for persons that were wishing to address the board on closed session items. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on an item addressed in closed session. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. We do not have any speaker cards. So with that, we will have a recess and adjourn at 8:45. 8:17.
That was my prediction and you beat it.
I guess 5 minutes.